I'm standing in the most recognisable piece of graffiti in the whole of the UK for mine and cave explorers. This piece of graffiti here is so famous because of its history that it's had. In this room in particular, there was an old motorcycle gang from the 60s and 70s who used to hang out in here. They used to party in here and cause a lot of nuisance. But they graffitied everywhere, all over this space. I'm going to explore what that means today. The motorcycle biker gang was called the Troggs, and they used their sign everywhere in this cave. We've got a T here and an S as well, which some people think could be a snake. And you can see this in a lot of mines in Derbyshire, and the way they did it was simply by using their carbide lamps, basically flame, to simply light up the rock and so burn the rock, signifying their name forever. Let's start out with an easy conundrum. What I've got is some graffiti up here. Would you call that vandalism? That's an open question to my audience. If you said yes, then I want you to think back to the Troggs in the 60s and 70s making their graffiti. Is that also vandalism? Because technically, it's kind of doing the same thing. You're just putting your name on the wall, which many people would say is graffiti because there's no meaning behind it. There's no diary entries or I was in the World War and this is what happened. It's just your name and says, I was here, by the way. That's not really useful for anyone. All right, but here's some food for thought. What I've got here is a new bit of graffiti and it's saying about COVID-19. Is that then acceptable in some sort of way because it represents a period of time when people were struggling? Well, this is where I'm going to really divide you because some people will think, oh yeah, that is kind of acceptable because yes, it is graffiti, but it's showing a figment of time that we went through that was particularly hard for humanity. Or is it just reckless graffiti? It's up to you to decide. Here lies an even bigger conundrum. Is this vandalism or not? What do you think? We've got lots of bits of graffiti from the 1851, we've got some from 1869, we've got some from the 1920s, we've got a range of different dates on here, all from a very, very long time ago. Now, this could have been the miners leaving their last graffitis on the wall as they exited the mine, but I'm pretty sure, looking at a few research papers beforehand, this is actually from the old tour. Now, the old tour that happened in this mine happened fairly regularly, and it's fairly easy to believe that when the tour guides were not looking, somebody would put their name, their date, and maybe even where they came from on here. We've even got a name here saying the Moorland Ramblers Club from 1954. Overall, a conclusion is really hard to make here. Because who am I as a cave explorer or a mine explorer? Who am I to be able to say what is right or wrong? Take this graffiti up here all over the ceiling from the 1960s. It's not my decision whether we clear it off or not. It's not my decision to determine if that is vandalism. And that's another question that you probably have been wondering about. What is vandalism and what is just graffiti? And it's a question that I can't answer for you. What we do have, however, is some very significant context to our graffiti. So we have the context of the miners making their names within the rock, which I think is truly special and important. However, when you see names from 2013, it feels less important because nothing was really happening in here in 2013. So it feels more like vandalism, but one day somebody will look at that 2013 mark and think, wow, 2013, what a year. They may just walk out and think nothing.
That was weird, a natural fly went round you.
Wow. Am I blessed or cursed?
I don't know. Things don't live down here.
Though we're close to the surface, so maybe